Hey, what's up? My name's Nigel, and today we're going to be talking about how you can set up a YouTube talking head shot basically anywhere you go. And all the gear that you'll need, you can fit inside of one backpack. So stay tuned. So my wife and I are planning on taking a road trip soon, and during that road trip I want to still be able to create content. So what I thought would be pretty fun is to see if I could fit an entire YouTube studio in one backpack. So I'm going to go over all the pieces of gear, and then we're going to see if we can fit it all into this little backpack that I have. So the idea for the gear that I'm bringing is going to be specifically for doing YouTube talking head style stuff. So each piece of gear is kind of based around that. So I'm not going to be talking about gimbals or drones or anything like that, because that's all stuff that I would probably most likely use for B-roll and not necessarily talking head. This stuff is just strictly for talking head. So for cameras, you can really use anything. For YouTube stuff, it's always nice to have a flip out screen. This is my Panasonic GH3, and I've been using it for all of my YouTube videos for the last couple of years. And the lens that I have on here is my favorite lens for YouTube, which is the 15mm f1.7. So this gives me a wide enough field of view where I can get pretty close to my tripod and my camera and still be able to set my focus area. So the field of view isn't too tight and not too wide, doesn't distort my face or anything. The 15mm is great for that. So that's the lens and camera that I use. As far as audio, I actually have a new mic that I haven't really talked about on this channel before. This is the Senal MS77. So this one I actually found on eBay for $34.99, and I actually like this better than my Comica mics. This is a very directional mic, and yeah, I'll maybe do a video on this, but it actually comes with a really long extension cable too, which is pretty cool. So this is the mic that I'm using. It has a plus 20 dB gain tab, which is pretty cool. And then I'm also going to be bringing a magic arm to attach the mic. I'll also have extra batteries in this little pouch here. I'll have my variable ND filter. This is my Photo variable ND. And then for tripods, I just have this really cheap pair of sticks. And for the tripod head, this is one of my cheap newer S2s. So these are basically just knockoffs of the Benro S2 tripod heads, which I use a lot for my mirrorless cameras because my mirrorless cameras are small and these heads are small, so it just makes for a pretty good combo. So as for lighting, I basically am just going to bring one light, and it needs to be powerful enough that I can shoot in the daytime and this light will actually do something, but it also needs to be compact enough that it'll actually fit inside of my backpack. So what I'm being lit with right now is the Falcon RX24 TD, I believe. And this is a pretty big light mat, and this is something that I probably wouldn't ever take with me on location if I was going to shoot out in the woods or something like that. But what I can bring is this little guy. This is the RX12, and I have it rolled up right now. And this is what I've used in a lot of my YouTube videos. And this one, actually, you can get a softbox and a grid for it, which I have here. This is the grid material, this is the diffusion, and then the softbox is actually right here. So with just this light mat, which is rolled up, and then the diffusion material here, I can get a pretty nice soft light to power it. I'm going to be using one of these Juicebox V-mount batteries. This is the 150 watt hour version, so this should power my light for a while. And so this can connect right on to the control box of the RX12. And so that's how I'm going to be actually powering my light when I'm on location, is just with a V-mount battery. And then as far as light stands, which I'm going to obviously need to hold my light up, I just have this really cheap Mount Dog light stand, and it already has the mount for the RX12, which came with the RX12 when I bought it. So that's all that I'm going to try to fit in my backpack. I know this is going to be pretty tricky to try to get all of this into one bag, especially because I have a light stand and a tripod that I'm going to need to bring, but I think I can do it. So I'm not going to go into great detail about how I pack my bag. I'm just going to kind of speed this up, and we'll see if I can fit all of this stuff into one bag. Okay, it is not pretty, but I got it all to fit. This is a pretty heavy pack right now, and obviously if I was ever gonna like hike with this thing, it'd be pretty brutal, but the fact is I can fit an entire YouTube setup right here in my backpack. What I'm gonna do now is actually go out into the woods, and then I'm gonna show you how I can actually set all this up into an actual YouTube talking head setup. Everything I need right here in this backpack. So many bugs out here. Whew. So obviously this setup is also gonna have to include a chair if you wanna sit on one, which this is just a little cheap camping chair that I had. So yeah, this is my RX12 I have right here, which is lighting me up. So as you can see, it is, you know, providing a nice little fill on my face. And one of the things that I really like when it comes to filming outside and having a nice bright light like this is that I can keep the exposure on my face consistent. So when you're filming out in natural light, the exposure is going to change all the time because there's clouds rolling in and out and the sun starts to dip. But if you have a consistent light on your face, you can color grade properly because the light, at least on you, is going to look the same. It might not look the same, you know, in the background or anything like that, but it's going to be a lot easier to color correct and color grade your video if you have a consistent light source on your subject. I've been in a lot of situations where I've, you know, color graded for one moment in the shot, but the lighting changed so much that at the end of the shot it looks completely different, and that's something that I just really get frustrated with. So having a nice bright light that's going to stay consistent is really crucial, especially when you're filming outside. So yeah, if you're someone who travels a lot or just moves around and likes to be out in nature and you want to be able to set up a really quick and easy way of shooting some talking head YouTube type stuff without having to fight against natural light, I think that this little setup that I put together is a really good option. And obviously you can mix and match and change things the way you want to, but the basic concept is having a small camera, the relatively fast lens, a decent mic, and most importantly, a light that can be powered off of a V-mount battery. Typically, the lights that are powered off of the small NPF batteries, again, just aren't usually bright enough to light yourself outdoors. So having a nice, powerful light like this little RX12, I think is really handy. Well, I think that's all I have for you in this video. Thank you so much for stopping by, and if you like this video, it'd be really cool if you hit the like button. And if you'd like to see more of my videos, you can click on either side of me and check those out. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Later.